Hello, my name is Trydar. Welcome to part 2 of the Atlas submarine tutorial. Today we're going to be starting over with the phases, and we're going to be doing them in a more detailed fashion than the previous episode, where I started out in my usual way, but some of you were having too much difficulty following along when I went up for 2 blocks. So behind me here, stretching off into the distance, we are going to be going up 1 block at a time from the bottom, so you can see everything that you need to rebuild the submarine. And also behind me here, we have some grid lines that I have laid out to assist you in counting out blocks. I will count out many of the blocks myself, but I want to have these here as a handy reference guide for you. And as always, this new world here will be added along with the other one that you can download in the video description if you need to come here and take a look at the various phases for yourself if the video is not quite good enough. So to start off with, as you can see below me here, the dimensions for the submarine is going to be 201 blocks long by 43 blocks wide by 49 blocks tall. It's 1 block longer because I had to do that for the 7x7 cobblestone squares that you see behind me here. And over in the middle, there are going to be 4x7 on either side of this central line here. This is a center line here, and our submarine is going to be symmetrical around the center line. Meaning that if you build something like that over here, you want to build the mirror image exactly on the other side of the center line, as you see done here. The entire submarine is laid out this way to be symmetrical in that way. So as I go along with the tutorial, if I only focus on, say, this side of the submarine and sort of ignore this side, realize that it is just the mirror image of it on either side of this line, which you can fairly clearly see right here. So let us begin with phase 1 of the tutorial, which is going to be the submarine itself. Now, the dimensions for this, it doesn't need to be measured from the front here exactly, because we are going to be building this sort of from the top down, but also from the middle outwards, meaning each end of this is going to be built from the center. And the depth that you should build your submarine at, this lowest level down here, this should be as deep in the water as you want it to go. And please refer to part 1 for the descriptions of the various depths where I show you for that. I believe the overall depth, if you want to have the entire submarine covered, as I've said, is 49 blocks high. So you would need to build this down below the water level, 49 blocks below the water level, to make it be completely covered. But if you want to have it partially submerged, you can build it, say, at about 23 blocks below the water level. So you would want to count down that, whichever the water level is in your world. I can't give you those exact dimensions because, as I've said, I don't know the topography on which you're going to be building your submarine, so I can only show it to you on the grid here. So let's start out and measure some things out. So if we lay down our first block of cyan terracotta here, we want to go 3 blocks back there. And then from here to here, we want to do a block run of 13 blocks. And then we want to do another one from here back to here. This is going to be a run of 19 blocks there. And then there's 4 blocks here and 2 blocks there. And then you skip 2 blocks. And you want to lay out some yellow concrete, as you see done here. And you want to put out another box back here. The width of this, we will count this from the center line. So the radius is going to be, how many? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 blocks. And then from here back to here is going to be, what, 1, 2, 3, 15 blocks there. So that will give you the initial measurements for the lowest level of the submarine, as you see done here. So once you have done that and put out all your cyan terracotta, a bit of white concrete, and the yellow concrete, we can now move on to phase 2. And as you can see, this is going to be the second block up. We started down here at this level. This next level is going to be this block level here, which is going to be 2 blocks up. And each successive phase is going to be 1 block up. In other words, that will be 3 blocks, 4, 5, and so on and so forth, stretching off into the horizon over there, which we will get to. I don't know if I can do all those phases today. No, maybe we can get about half of them. So from here, from the lowest point down here, which we started off, we want to count out a few more blocks of wool here. So this is going to be the point where we have our cyan terracotta below there. So from that, we want to come out how many blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11 blocks. Then we want to count out 3 blocks, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks. And then we want to do several blocks to get back to this point here. And I don't think I need to count these out because you've already placed the yellow concrete below here. And this is just 2 blocks away from that down there. So you want to be placing a bit more of yellow concrete. You also want to be placing your ladders down here because these are going to serve as 2 of the lowermost entrances to the engineering section from below. And you want to place in some cyan terracotta around here. And here also. That amount of blocks there. Which, how many blocks is that? This looks like it sticks out 2 blocks from below here. This section that we did below there. And it looks like it comes out 3 blocks on top here to be flush with the yellow concrete that you've already built there. So you want to go back the same number of blocks, I think, plus how many? Plus 1 or 2? Plus 2 blocks on the back, as you see done here. And I should also remark at this point where you see this blue wool here. Well, it's blue wool in my texture pack, but I think it's like blue tube coral or something. But wherever you see the blue coral blocks here, this is a substitute for light blue stained glass. Because as you can see in the video, the glass isn't going to be all that visible. So to make it more apparent for what you should be building here, whenever you see the wool here, you are going to want to be replacing this with light blue stained glass as you see done there. So remember, the blue wool is just a placeholder for the stained glass. So with that said, let me give you a good top-down view of this section here. You're also putting in some obsidian for a bit of the floor for this compartment back here. And here is the middle section here, and as well as the front. We are building in the lower sections of the mobile vehicle bays in these sections. There are 2 of those, as you recall, so that is what you are building here. So let me give you a good top-down view of this entire phase here. And also from the top, taking in the entire grid for this phase and the last one as well. All right, with that done, let us move on to phase 3. And we will start at the front here. As you remember, there is a bit of glass to be placed here, like so, and that is 2 by 3. It's 2 blocks away from this bit of cyan terracotta here, which from this section here is going to be the tip of the cyan terracotta that we did over there, that right there. From that, we need to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blocks to get to the front of that. And then there's 2 here, then 4, then another 4, and then several. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15 blocks. Or was that 14? Count that again. 2, 3, 15, 14. Okay, it was 14. My mistake. So we will move on from that, and then we want to run from here back to here. It's going to be quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 21 blocks to get back there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks to get back to this point here, which connects up with our entranceways down here with the ladders. And we are building up the interior of this room also. I think if I just give you a good top-down view of this, you can fairly clearly see how that is laid out. We're building the bases for some storage containers, as well as using a bit of sea lanterns down here to help light up our room. And there is also some light blue stained glass panes on the sides here. I haven't substituted any wool for the stained glass panes, only for the full blocks, not for the panes, because I think as we go along, these will be fairly easy to see, even with the shaders on, so you can make out that there. All right, I think there is a little bit of detail we need to count out around here. So it looks like these walls are going upwards right there. Well, we are going out another block over here of cyan terracotta on top of the yellow concrete, which is coming up around there, like so. Just stepping out one additional block. We're also stepping out one additional block on the back here as well with the same patterns. And you're putting in a bit more glass here for the sea lanterns for some lighting effects at the back there. And just fill in the voids in this with either nothing or cobblestone or cyan terracotta or whatever you want to do. As you can see, I filled it in mostly with cyan terracotta. So let me give you a good top-down view of this section. And towards the front here, we can see we're building up another level of the mobile vehicle bays, as you see done here with the yellow concrete and obsidian and everything. And here's another one here. It's just a copy of the one right behind it. And out front from that, there's headed off towards the bow of the submarine. All right, so let me give you a view along here, maybe from the other side. You can see what we are doing here. So I've counted out all of the cyan terracotta as we are going up to form the shape of the hull already, so you should have that. And I think I've covered this one in enough detail, so we can move on to this phase over here. We should be now four blocks up. And we are building in, looks like we've got another light down here, which we're going to be putting in. What that glass was for that we put in the last phase. And from this, we need to count up a few more blocks from that block there forward. So we want to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks to get to the front. Then there's 2, then 1, then that looks like 5, then probably 6, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I think from here we just want to take that all the way back to where it collides with the stern section back here, however many blocks that ends up being. And you want to build the interface of that as you see done here. We are coming out one block from the back section, which we have been building. We're going up on the sides here, and we're also adding in the pontoon sections for, I believe, what are sort of like outer thrusters or stabilizers, something like that. They're on the submarine. I don't really know what they are. In fact, I neglected to cover that on the last phase, but we'll get to that in a moment. First, let's take a look in here at this room which we are constructing. So we have several sort of specimen containers here, and you will want to be replacing the blue wool with the light blue stained glass here. And you can put some water in here if you want to. And you're extending up the ladders and the walls as you see done here according to these patterns off of some white concrete and cyan terracotta. Fairly simple to do. It's not a very complicated room. What is a little bit complicated are the sort of the doors and the lower sections for the mobile vehicle bay. So let me give you a good top-down view. Slowly go forward so you can see all of this here. We're just placing in some yellow concrete and obsidian. And below here, we're building out the base of the lower room of what is sort of meant to be an alien containment room. In here, we have sort of an alien containment chamber that we're building. And we have a ladder here and some stained glass panes on the side of that. And I think you can fairly clearly see the numbering for the tank itself. I believe it is going to be 5 and then a 1 and then a 5, as you see done there. So that's the complete forward section. And the doors for the mobile vehicle bays, 2 of those, and the specimen container rooms here at the back. Now we need to take a look at these pontoons on the sides here. They are connected at this level here by this thing here. And it is 4 blocks wide, and it is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks long. And the measurements on the sides here, let's just take it from this point. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks, and then 2, and then 8 back this way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 blocks that way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks, and then 2, and then it's going to be 7 to get back there for that level. And we have just a few details of stained glass and sea lanterns on this at this level here. And below that, you're going to want to build out this section here. And let me lower down so you can see how this is attached there. It's just set 1 block back over here and 1 block back over here as well. I should give you the length of this. It's going to be 4 blocks that way, and I believe this is also 4 blocks there. And this is going to be what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15 blocks to get that dimension of there. That goes directly beneath this one over here, and once complete at that level, it should look like this here. Right, I believe that we have now covered this phase in a sufficient amount of detail, so we can move on to the next one over here. So let's start again over here and find out the place where we need to make the center line. It's going to be right there. So from here to get up to the front, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. And then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then a 2, and then out this way you want to come 3, and then 3, and back in 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks, and then 1, 2, 3 blocks there, then 3 blocks this way, 4 blocks this way, 1 block, and then 1 block, and then 1, 2, 3, well, hang on. And then after this, to get all the way from here to the back, you just run a straight line to get back to this point here. And you can see how this interfaces with the sections at the back here. However many blocks that is going to be, the count of that one doesn't really matter. On the sides here, you can get this measurement by the middle section, which we have been building up in here in the middle. Take the 2 blocks from that and add 3 blocks on either side here. 4 blocks over there and 3 blocks on the back. As you see done there, to give you that measurement here. Alright, so let's take a look at the alien containment chamber. You can see you're beginning to build up the glass walls of the containment unit itself here. Just put that right on top of the obsidian and build all that up according to these patterns that you see here. Behind that, we're building up more of the mobile vehicle bays, and you're doing that with obsidian and yellow concrete. You know the drill, as you see done here. And view from inside here. And of course, the back one is exactly the same. The only difference down here is you're also building up the lower portions of the prawn suit as we go along. I do have dedicated tutorials for both the sea moth and the prawn suit already, so I'm not going to cover those in too much detail. As you see here, you are building up another level of the specimen containment room back here with its 4 large specimen tanks in it. And at this level, we're also adding in some details of stained glass panes. Generally in the submarine, when there's a room, every time you've gone up 2 blocks, you're going to start adding the stained glass on the 3rd block here, because it's just below our height, so we won't run into it. And build that all out as you see done there. Take a look at the back here. There's some small details. First, we have our center line running through here. And from that, you're going to put 2 blocks on either side of that. And then what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 blocks on top of that. And you're building up all the other blocks on the sides here. Putting in some stained glass there for some lighting for that. And on top of the side pontoons here, you're building out a 3 wide thing of white concrete and connecting it on the top here with that, as you see done there. And this is just on top of the last phase, so I don't need to give you any measurements for this. I just need to give you a good look at it from all the angles, so you can see how it is arranged. Alright, let's see, is there anything to talk about? Let me just give you a good top-down view of this entire phase, so you can take stock about where we are at. And we will move on to the next one. So we're going up another block, and we need to establish where the front is again. Looks like it's going to start being easier, I think, from this point down here again. Going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks there. Very simple. And down below here, you are building out the sort of the lowermost entranceway into the submarine. If you've played with the Cyclops, this is analogous to the lower porthole where you would enter in to the submarine through that hatch there. So from up here, you're going over 2 blocks, back 1, then 2 blocks this way, then 4 blocks there, and then 4 blocks there. 2 this way, turn a corner, 2 blocks. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks with an extra block of cyan terracotta over there. 1 block back. Then 4 blocks in this way, and then 3, and then 1. And then 2 out this way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then back 1, back and over another one. And then from here, you are going to make a straight run all the way back to the back section here. And in the middle again, here is our 2 block wide center. And from this, we need to count out a few more blocks. We need to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks. and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 there to get that measurement to round out the sides of the hull of the submarine on this side here, which I imagine the hull, getting all the many measurements right, is going to be probably one of the more difficult aspects of building the submarine, because there's hardly any straight lines in it. Right, now at the back here, I think you can see how this is put together. You want to come over 2 blocks and then go straight back. And there's 3 blocks here, and then you want to use some yellow concrete there, and then run straight back here. And I think you can clearly see how that fits together. You're just making a 2-block indentation, and then you're just coming in 1 block and then adding that there. And back here we have the beginnings. Well, we had in the last phase, but now we have the beginnings of this section of the submarine that's going to be sloping up in that direction there. So the underside from this block here, that is going to be, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks there, and then over a block, then 2, then another 2, and then 1, and then it should hit this wall here for that. Now on the inside here, we're building out more of the specimen chambers here, and you're just putting on a cap on the top. That's the same as you put on the bottom when we first started those. And the walls are going up, as you can see here, with the white concrete, the cyan terracotta, and blue stained glass. The light blue stained glass. So over here we have a bit more of the prawn suit and the interior of the chamber. Take a look at the chamber from this side here. I think you can see that the interior, sort of the girders, and the structural members of obsidian are following the contours of the interior of the hull of the submarine. So you want to make those out as you see here, and of course the specimen chamber goes up another block there. So let's take a look at the entire section from the top all the way to the back here. And I believe at this phase we are also finishing off these side thruster pontoons over here with just a bit of white concrete and yellow concrete here, and that's set back 6 blocks from the front there, and it's set back what, 5 from the back there. All right, I believe we have covered everything there is to do in this phase, so let's move on to another one. We still have a bit of time to go, I think. So let's start at the front. Our submarine is now getting quite large, so there's going to be a lot to go over. So from this last section that we built down here, you're going to want to come out 4 blocks to establish the front of the level at this phase, and then you're coming over 1 block, and then back 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4, and then 5, then 1 block this way, then 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out 1 block over here of yellow concrete, 1 block back this way, another one, and then what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks that way, then turn a corner for 2 blocks, then diagonal of 1 block, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, then 2, and then 2 more. And then from this point, you want to make a straight run all the way back here, and that's going to be several blocks. So this is our 2-block center that we built over there. So let's count back from this one to get back there. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks. 11 counting that back there, and then 12 counting that there. And then you'll want to have a little break, and then run back 1. How many blocks is it's going to be? Several. make a long count for this. Is going to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. "26 blocks to get all the way to that point there." And you want to do that with white concrete and cyan terracotta, as you see done there. And we still have to count out the stern section. So from this point here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 blocks this way, 2, then 2 more, and then 2 more, and then 3 here. And this right here is, of course, going to be our center line. So you just mirror everything on the other side of that. Let's take a look down here. We have some lighting that we're adding in on the sides here to begin to put a ceiling on this room here. So here's what this looks like from below. And here's what it looks like from above. So you want to build that out according to this pattern here. And you also want to build out the ladder. Over here, we're putting on a ledge of cyan terracotta there, so we can come up through our ladder here. And here's a little bit more of the prawn suit back here, and our forward mobile vehicle bay here. Let me give you sort of a view from inside of it. Below here, looking forwards there, and then from the top down, and build the one behind it exactly the same, except for the addition of the prawn suit. Alright, going forward, we are looking at a bit more of the specimen containment area, the alien containment room. And we're putting in some yellow concrete at this phase and a bit more glass and extending our ladder up, as you see done here. Fairly simple room. So let me start again from the front and give you a view going towards the back of what we have done at this level here. Things are starting to get big and complicated, but just stick with it and you will be able to construct it. So I think we have enough time to cover about 2 more phases, which the submarine is, we've got a lot more to build. So it looks like there's going to be several parts to this because it is quite large and complicated. And in order to do everything only 1 block at a time, it's going to take quite a while to do it. And this is still shorter than doing it, trying to place all the blocks right in front of you, because there are too many blocks and this video would be impossible for me to make in that way. So from the front here, where we stopped down over there, going forward, that is going to be 4 blocks. And then we want to come over 1 block, and then 1 here, and then 2. Then 2 more, and then 4. And then 4. And then a third 4. Then 2. 2 over this way, turn the corner, and then 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 1 this way, and another 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that way. And then 2 more here, 1 there. And then I believe from here all the way back down here is going to be another long count. So this is going to be 32 blocks to get all the way back here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 4. Then 3. Then 4 again. Then 2. Then 3. Then 2. Then another 3. And then 1. And then 3 over here. And of course we have our center line coming through back there. So that gives you the entire shape of the hull for this section here. And looking down from below on it, we can see that it is at this level that we are starting to use some of our observers. And these are going around in a circle, feeding into each other. And this is going to represent the very lowest level of the fusion core that powers the submarine. And we also have a bit more of the prawn suit, as you see down here. Let's now go down into our completed specimen room. You can see on top of this, you're just putting on a solid ceiling, a cyan terracotta at this level here. And filling all that in there. And here are our mobile vehicle bays again. Looking down at this level here. And the alien containment unit, which you're extending up the glass, and we're putting in some lighting of sea lanterns around the ring on top of the yellow concrete. As you see done here. So let's start at the front here and do a panning motion towards the stern of the submarine so you can see everything from the top down, factoring in all of the block counts of the red wool here that I have done for you. And I believe that will finish up that phase there, so we can continue on to this one over here. All right, so down here, as you can see, we are now putting in from below some blue wool, which is of course going to be the light blue stained glass there. And I think you can see from below here, it is now sitting on top of the cyan terracotta that I have laboriously counted out from below. But I think as we go along, that if I go from underneath here, you will be able to see the block counts, so I don't need to count it out anyway, but I probably will, just will. So let's just start from the front here. Well, we want to come forward with our glass 3 blocks. Make a block there. Then over 2, then back 1, and then 1, then 3, then 2, and then 4, and then with the cyan terracotta, 4 blocks this way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2 this way, and then 1, 2, and then a bit of glass here with our sea lanterns behind that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks there, and then 1, and then another one. Then 1, well, that's 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. Let me see. From here all the way back down here is another long count. So, with the magic of editing, this is going to be 37 blocks to make that distance. And then you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then another 5, looks like. Then a 3. Then a 4. And then 3 again. A 2. Another 3. Another 2. 2 more. A third 2. And then back here at the back where we of course have our center line. Alright. Now, over here, you are putting in observers just straight on top of the ones we put down feeding into itself. And you want to have them looping around on each other. And then facing upwards. And I believe very shortly we're going to be putting in our redstone lamps on top of that. So I think, now that I gave you the dimensions of that, let's start at the front here again. And back here, we can see that we are putting in some sections of the lower observation room, which is going to be at the front of our submarine. The bridge deck is going to be immediately above this. This is where these ladders are leading up to over here, by the way. These are going up to the bridge deck. And over here, you are using the only 3 blocks of white quartz that I believe we have in the submarine. You're putting those in right here at this level. So if I just give you a good top-down view of this entire section, you should be able to see how to construct that. And you can also see that in many of the sections, I have doubled up the thickness of the stained glass. So it's not really just one block of thickness. So going back this way, I think you can clearly see the measurements for the floor here. It's going to be the floor of the next level. And you're making that out of obsidian and cyan terracotta, or either black concrete or black stone, depending on which material you chose to use from part 1. And you're starting to cap off the room, the alien containment room, back here with a bit of obsidian. And let's go down inside this and take a look at the ceiling below here of that side here. All right. And let's take a look back here at the mobile vehicle base. At this lowest level, we are now starting to build in our sea moth, which is a very simple design, as you can see here. And on the side there as well. And a bit more of the prawn suit over here. I believe this is where you standing inside your prawn suit. To give you a closer look at this down below here. All right, and here is the floor design of the obsidian for the lower engineering level down here at the back. So let's now start at the back again and make our way forward. I'll give you an overview of the entire submarine that we have built at this phase here. But I'm afraid that's going to be all the time we have for this tutorial. I was a bit optimistic, thinking we could get through half of these phases, but it looks like we're going to need several episodes to be able to cover the submarine in enough detail for you to be able to rebuild it if you only have to use it to video. But remember, if you are on Java, you can download this world in the video description and take a look at it for yourself. And remember, if I'm going too fast on any sections, just pause the video and look at the submarine as it's laid out for you on the screen, because as we are going along, I am showing you every block that you need to place. Because as I've explained, there are far too many blocks in the submarine for me to be able to build it right in front of you in a reasonable amount of time. And this is my version of doing things block by block. So thank you very much for watching. Part 3 should be the next video after that, and we'll get as far along in the video as we can. And I hope you have fun building, and I will see you next time.